This week on OSRL.
It's time to protect our straw bale walls, but things get off to a rough start as we figure out the technique that works best for us.
How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the channel. Now, if you're new here, my wife and I were building our own home off-grid here in the Arizona desert. But if you've seen our last video, you know we just completed our straw bale walls. Very exciting. Got all the spaces in between the bales filled. It's looking really good. Now, I was going to start the next step in the process of covering the bales, but just reminded me of something. We still have our gravel-filled bags completely uncovered underneath the bale. So I want to get that covered first. That should be the next step. You can see that as low as the sunlight is, as we're approaching winter, that sunlight is starting to hit those bags. So that's not good. So since we're putting gravel on this floor eventually anyway, I'm going to start that process right now and just lay some gravel down in front of these bags. So hopefully that won't take too long. So let's get going. Well, it's taken quite a while to put these rocks in front of these bags. Quite a number of trips and a lot of rocks. But I'm down to just this corner, about maybe 5 more feet. Then I'll be done. Then I got to cover the bale. So a lot of work going on. All right, we are all set. Finally got all those rocks in place. Looking real nice. Now it's on to the bales. I'm gonna start mixing up the clay slip. I'll show you what's going on there. So now I'm gonna start on the clay slip for the bales. It's basically just clay and water, and I'm gonna mix it until it's sort of like maybe a milkshake consistency. That's what I'm aiming for. This first mix took me a little while because I had to reconstitute some old clay, but I'm going to give this a shot. This is my first mix. Now keep in mind I might have to toy with it a little bit because it's the first time I've ever done it, but basically I want to get a first coat in because supposedly cob will not stick to straw bales very well. It needs like some clay to really get into the fibers of the straw bales in order for future layers to really stick to it. I got this broom. This is what I'm going to use as a brush. Already I don't know if I like this. I just seem to be wiping off a lot of straw. I think this would take forever. This might not work. I might have to just go with the hands or maybe try a different technique, but I'm not impressed with this one so far. Okay, we're just gonna see how this goes with the hands. I already got some muddy gloves, so that should work. It's a little too thin for the hands, so I have to make the mix appropriate for however I'm going to lay it on, but it's just kind of running out through the hands. All right, good morning. Cloudy out here, but luckily it's kind of warm. Temperatures were in the high 40s this morning, not too bad. The clay slip is going on nice, but I'm still trying to figure out like the best way of applying it. I don't have too much done here, just this little spot. So obviously there's going to be a lot of area to cover. I could cover it by hand. That's definitely a possibility. It'll take a little bit, but I can definitely do it. So that's an option. But I want to see if there is a more efficient way of doing it. So I brought out the air compressor over here, and I actually bought a texture sprayer a little while back, and I want to see how well that works. And of these options, the broom by hand, the texture sprayer, we'll see what works. Jess also brought up with the broom, I think I was trying to paint it on with by brushing the broom up against the bales, and that's definitely not effective, but Jess brought up maybe dipping it and flinging it, which is a technique I have used in the past, and that could work too, just like flinging it on, but it might waste a lot of the mix, and it's not very accurate, but we'll see. So I'm gonna get the sprayer, we'll plug the compressor in, and we'll see how this all works. All right. Now it should be interesting trying to find a consistency I need for that sprayer. Problem is you don't want it too thick either. I feel like this might be good. I don't know, we'll see. It still seems kind of a little liquidy. All right, so sprayer didn't quite work out as well as I had liked. And unfortunately, I'm losing time. It's taking a lot of time to figure it out. I think the sprayer would work. It actually is kind of promising. I think I'd have to sift the dirt a lot finer. I'd probably have to get a much tighter screen. And I don't have time for that right now. Maybe I'll try that again in the future. It was promising, but I might just try and do it by hand. So make it a little thicker and then just get in there with the hands and get it done. We might have talked about this before. Yeah, this whole idea of kind of coming out here and trying to live a more self-sufficient life, living off the grid, that was all your idea. Kind of a big dream of yours. I don't know quite how long you had it or how long you've been working with that idea of just kind of wanting to remove yourself from society. We were kind of living that average life up until this point. We were doing the things that we were supposed to be doing. We went to college, we had jobs, we lived in a city, kind of a smaller city, but a city, and then decided to give it all up and move out into the country. It was kind of like your dream. Dad, you kind of brought me along for the journey, and it really kind of became my dream as well. I was living the life out in the city, again, doing what we're supposed to be doing, but you think back to it and it's like, was I living life or was I living life for paying the bills? I kind of feel like I'm actually living life now more. We get to spend so much time together, working together. It's been an absolute dream. So far, by hand is the most effective method I've seen. I made it a little bit thicker. How thick would you think that was? If you could describe it a quality of thickness, what would you say it is?
Thick pudding.
Like almost a pudding type kind of quality?
Yeah.
So a pudding type texture. It's got to be thin enough. It's got to be thin enough to really get a nice good spread on there, but thick enough where you can kind of pick it up with your hands. So that's what I'm going for. And I obviously, as you can see with one mix, I've made a lot more progress than with any of the other methods. Like it's all going up there, which is nice. With some of the other methods, it's just getting all over the place. So pretty cool. But obviously, it's going to be a lot of work. There's still a lot more work to do out here, but it's coming together. As this house comes together, for me, it's really important to sort of give you this house, this dream house. I really want it to be someplace special for you. Just someplace where you come in at the end of the day after, I don't know, whatever it is you want to be doing, gardening or whatnot, tending the animals. And it is a place that you feel most at home. You know, this is a very kind of unique build, kind of taking several methods, putting them together. But for me, I was just thinking as a really kind of a physical love letter to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope as you enjoy this, hopefully for years to come, the years that we are together, that it is a symbol of my love for you.
That's really sweet.
You coming? You having a happy Thanksgiving? Now, this is our Thanksgiving, but you guys will be seeing this a bit after. But yeah, I am thankful for this holiday season to be able to spend time with you, to work alongside you, to sweat as we lift up heavy bales, to stack on one another, and to get dirty and roll around in the mud together. Yeah, you've given me a purpose and a dream, and I hope to give you a house one day that you absolutely love.
I already love it, actually. I love the process of working together to build it. This has been a dream of mine for a long time. You know, I've always felt like I didn't really fit into the world or society. So building this life is kind of my way of building my own space, my own little world where I feel comfortable. So I'm really fortunate and I'm thankful that I found someone who wants to build that with me.
Well, that's what we're thankful for. We'd like to hear, I know the holidays passed now, but why not? What are you guys thankful for? We made a lot of good progress yesterday. Definitely some starts and stops along in this process, but it's coming along pretty well. Of course, we still have a lot more to do, but it's looking pretty good though. I just got a few spots to finish up today though, and then we can start on the next part of the wall. I guess I was a little surprised at actually how fast it was doing this by hand. I kind of thought it might take a bit longer, but you know, the fact that it's kind of thin and you're taking those clumps and just kind of spreading it out over the area, I think that was a big contributor. So it doesn't take quite as much mix to get around a larger area. Subsequent layers might take a little bit longer, but we'll see. But it looks real nice. Our mud-covered walls look really nice. So despite putting the rocks down, I got some areas of the bags here which I didn't cover up with the rocks. Like from the doorways, this is where we need to kind of get through on the north side. So if I put a bunch of rocks here, it's going to be difficult to step on over. So I'm just going to use some of that mud I've been making, get that on these bags, and then that should provide a nice protective layer. So the bags by the door have been covered, just a little mud layer. Not going to be super stable, but it should be enough to keep the sunlight off of them and keep those bags from deteriorating. You know, with that southern sun getting as low as it is, it's just hitting those bags. That made me feel a little uncomfortable, but we should be good now. Now I can put my focus on those walls where it needs to be, and I should be able to knock those out with less worries. Well, I definitely had some starts and stops. Yeah, I wanted to try some different techniques to get this mud on the walls. And who would have thought maybe the best way was just with the hands after all. That seemed to go pretty quick. But stay tuned because there's a lot more mudding gonna be happening and a lot more building, and I'm very excited as this thing progresses. So stay tuned. Definitely give this video a thumbs up, and we'll catch you in the next video, everyone. Bye.